falling down towards one angle or the other angle. So be in a very stiff, stable, firm place. Ground is the best, or a very sturdy chair or the bed. Anything is fine. Okay, so I'll give another 30 seconds so you guys, so everybody can settle down, and then let's begin. And I hope Ram, Bhai, you're also there and can also experience this meditation.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we'll do a very short meditation. That doesn't mean its strength reduces or anything. However, definitely the more time we spend, we can continue to experience the bliss and the ultimate reality of life. Okay, so I would request you to okay, Rennie, can you switch off your camera while we are in this meditation? Yeah, thank you. So now I would request you to yeah, I assume that now you have reached to a place, you're sitting at a stable place without any kind of sound disturbance around you, and we will spend around about 10 minutes in this. So close your eyes. You can take a couple of deep breaths in and out. Maybe give a count of 4 or 5 when you go in. Hold it for the same count and release so that you feel more grounded. So, sitting quietly, be with yourself, relax, be still, gently pay attention, be present. Imagine for a moment the source of the creation of the universe, when this all started, the whole creation of the cosmos. Before all began, before before the Big Bang happened, there was nothing. The state where there was no existence of form, matter, time, space. There was nothing. And then, boom, the Big Bang. And then the universe, the cosmos was created where we are. This is the form of duality where we are now, the cosmos, from the state from where it all began, the source, where nothing, there was nothing, there was no knowing, there was no being. This was created. And as we begin this meditation, we are going to gradually get into the state of being in the state of oneness where this all began. And that state of oneness is a form of absolute reality. Where we are now is another form of reality, a relative reality, which is also true. Now we are going to go gradually towards the absolute reality. In this, we start by imagining the ultimate consciousness And this is the consciousness which we are all the time. We are part of all the time. The part of consciousness which is absolute exists within us all the time. That consciousness is the source of creation, which exists in every individual, because that is the source of creation. We are the source of creation. We are the one from where this whole cosmos was created. If we can imagine gently that before the Big Bang, when there was nothing, there was no one, there was no being, there was no knowing, it was us who were in that state, and then we were put into this duality of creation of the relative world of the entire cosmos. If we imagine now for a moment that we are moving from this duality towards the source of us, when we did not have a form, we did not have any knowing, when we had no being. Let's start with that. So now I remind you that all we are doing is we are relaxing, we are quiet, being with ourselves, still paying attention and being present. And now we start having no relationship with the content of consciousness, meaning having nothing, knowing nothing, being no one, and yet having a complete trust in the divine, in our own self, the source of our creation. That is the divine, that is our I am presence. Complete faith, absolute faith, and trust. Right now, we are in the state of having nothing, knowing nothing, being no one. In the state of having nothing, the whole cosmos, creation of the divine, the entire creation ceases to exist. There is nothing that we know. When there is nothing there, there is no being present. When there is nothing there, it's a gift. And yet, the stream of thought, the engulfing, constant engulfing of our mind stream, continues to engulf us, wrap us, but we do not struggle. We do not make anything mean anything. In this state of being, all that we think, all the thoughts, any aspect of any thought is to be treated as waste, complete waste, which means we give up, we surrender in the constant mode of surrender, non-stop, just like the river flows. It continues to flow. It keeps giving, 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 giving from the source. In the same way, we keep dropping our thoughts, all the thoughts, irrespective, and gradually just like the boat on the shore of a river experiences a lot of ripples on the side of the shore, gradually moving towards, towards the deep sea, towards the deep sea, where the water becomes still. We are moving into the state of nothingness, the state of zero or infinity, where there is no mind, there is no thought, there is nothing, there is no knowing, there is no being. Gradually, let's bring our attention back to your room, to our body. Let's twiddle our hands, fingers, feet, fingers. Be aware of the surroundings. And as we feel comfortable, let's rub our hands, put them on the eyes, and gradually open your eyes. Yes. How does everybody feel? Would you like to share what was your experience? You can switch on your cameras, Renee. Yes, Vasudhaji.
It
Hello.
was very nice. Initially, it took some time to, quieten the thoughts, or to intend that thoughts that are coming as waste, and but slowly that subsided, and there was a lot of stillness, and like when you said, or when you kept saying this, nothing, nothing, and that consciousness of nothing was very beautiful. I felt I was getting sucked into it, silence, and at one point I could not feel myself. So it was amazing.
Very nice. That's nice. Amazing. Thanks for sharing. We did a very short version, and this was the first time that we did this. So uh, I'm sure that we if once we continue this, we can really go deeper, and we can speak about the hindrances which are not letting us go deeper inside as well. And I'm happy to
Yeah,
answer to
yeah.
my best of my knowledge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to share?
It was wonderful, Akash Bhai. So deep meditation, I would say. I would have stayed there even longer and longer and longer. Such wonderful space it was. That such wonderful, nothingness it was. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So much. Yeah. I resonate with you. When I sit for this meditation, I just don't wish to get up, and I just wish to continue. It's like people go for a vacation, and this is the best vacation that probably anybody can go, because this is a place where even in vacation we are supposed we bound to do many things, get up and eat food, and even going out to a place to have to live and glance at it. And this is a state where we can just go out of everything. So for me it is like that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I guess Renee, you sharing something? You are unmuted. Yeah.
No, I was
Yes.
just
Share,
hang
please.
on. Yeah, I can't seem to get. I can't start the video.
You can't start. Okay. Let's
It
see.
says The host are disabled.
Try now. Okay.
That's
I don't know. Maybe what happened. Sorry about it. Anyways.
yeah. Now
Yes.
I can.
Yes.
Yeah. It was amazing actually because there was stillness. That's all I can say. Stillness and very calm. Unusual experience. I do meditation a whole lot, but this was rather nice. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I can say. It was, it was like just, I think there's something one tries to achieve a state of blank, of nothingness, and it was good.
Thank you. Okay. We have Sunanda and Jyoti also joining us. So welcome, Sunanda. Welcome, Jyoti. You can switch on your cameras if you wish to. Um, it's your choice. But I hope that you also were able to join with the meditation. So if you would like to share a word, you're most welcome. It's your choice. And Uma as
Yeah,
well.
just joined, so I haven't joined the meditation.
Okay, no problem. We do have a link, so you can, if you wish, you can revisit that, and we will definitely be taking up this meditation
Right.
in the future as well. So, thank you for joining. Yes, hi Jyoti, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
So sorry, the voice. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Good morning. Actually, I
Good
just now
morning.
joined, so I couldn't
Okay.
be there for the full
Okay.
meditation. So
Okay.
maybe I will watch in the YouTube later.
No problem. It's absolutely
Thank you.
fine. Thank you for joining, Jyoti ji. Umaji, would you like to share if you wish to?
Yes, Akash, it was very nice. So it was very short. Really, it was very deep and really thoughtless state. It was very nice, amazing. It was very nice. I thought it was very short. It would have been nice if it was some more
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
a little bit longer. But of course, we had to take the class. But anyways, it's very nice, Akash. Very nice.
We'll integrate maybe around 20-30 minutes from the next time
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
that we
think it
have
would be
more
good.
time and we can
Yes,
increase
yes,
the time of the session as well. But
yes, yes, Akash.
nevertheless, yeah, let's begin the session. We have around one and a
Okay.
half hour and we'll like to cover as much as possible in that.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah,
Thank you, Akash.
thank you so much. Okay, well, very welcome to everybody. And let's begin the session with a quick insight, I would say. And this is a question to ourselves. I will encourage you to spend about a minute, a very short time, to ask this question to your own self. And if you wish to share, you can text in the chat or maybe say a one line. But we would be moving ahead in the interest of time, not spending much time. So appreciate if everybody can, if everybody wishes to share, to give a one liner. The question is that
Akash bhai,
what? Yeah. Yes.
maybe you need to reduce a little bit the music sound so your voice is audible.
I don't have any control to reduce that, Rambai. Hold on, I can stop maybe. It's not stopping. Okay, maybe I can just.
Where you have this speaker symbol, you should be having. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the question is, who am I? And your answers can keep varying every time. We did ask this question the last time, and we might ask it again. But then the question continues to be, who am I? And what am I doing here? Okay. Who am I? And what am I doing here? That's the question. Let's spend about 1 minute with ourselves. Let's be very authentic in putting this question to ourselves. Who am I? And what am I doing on this planet? Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is a very abstract answer. Yeah. Umaji, got it. Yeah. And I open the stage for everybody in case you would like to share one word. You can share, or you can text, whatever is comfortable to you. But do that briefly, please. So Umaji says, I am no one, I am doing nothing. Okay. Yeah. Vasudaji says, I am part of the divine and I am here to fulfill the divine plan, which at this point have no clue. I resonate with you. Yeah. And Jyotiji says, that's the question I ask myself very often. Sometimes I feel I am that pure consciousness, but sometimes it is just I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I personally also keep going back and forth. Of course, yeah, we might contemplate these kind of thoughts where at times we are feeling that we are the pure consciousness, and at times it's quite the opposite. We have no clue. Okay, well, keep posting your messages. It's great. I'm reading them, and you can continue to do that. So feel free to do that. Uh, my experience is, who am I? Well, okay, Sunanda says, I also keep asking the same question to myself. Hmm. Great. It's a deep question. Yeah,
It's it's
go
it's
ahead.
a it's a wonderful question always to ask, Akash. By I remember every session we have the same question, and every time we have
Hmm.
different answers, and that's the beauty of this question in itself. And right now I
Hmm.
feel I'm an explorer of myself, and every time a new dimension is being revealed out of this exploration, and from 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 nothing it is me, from everything it is me. So it's always out of this
Hmm.
exploration things do come up, and it's always a joyful exploration. So I'm here just to explore.
Well, amazing answer. Yeah. I get quite intrigued by this question myself. And every time I get into this question, I have an experience of getting to the state of blankness. Uh, I do have my answers, which are very surface level. But then, as deep as I keep asking this question, who am I? maybe it's just like that. I'm an open space. I'm just here in this life to experience things which are coming my way, and the reality of life is that I have no idea what my purpose, what exactly that I'm supposed to make happen, and yet I have an idea that I am a being of that consciousness. I'm that Aham Brahmasmi, and through me being the conduit, the experience of life transforms. Just my being here, you being here, each one of us being here. So who I am that space in which the things occur, in which the things occur, in which the life gets to be expressed. And what am I doing here? I'm here to to keep learning, to keep learning, to keep learning, to keep sharing, to being part of this great evolution of this process, of this evolution of the whole consciousness of this whole cosmos. So with that, unless anybody has something to share, we'll go to the next slide. I think I've read all the messages as well. So today, uh, uh, we'll quickly spend a minute or two on this specific slide. What you see here is a small depiction of ascended masters, which are who are. Yeah, I'll just explain you briefly. There are what is the meaning of ascended masters. But what I was going to say is that we have so many ascended masters, but I have just picked up randomly a few of them to accommodate on this specific slide, and so that we can get a small sense of who are these great masters. By the way, they were like us, and they are us, and yet they had gone through lifetimes and lifetimes and years, thousands and thousands and thousands of years of tests of various experiences on the planet, and then they move to the state of moksha, of ascension, where now they are all present in the etheric plane, from where they assist us from up high, and they are all part, and they are very closely associated with us. They are very much interested in us, and they are our friends, and they are very approachable. So ascended masters, or I would say the Great White Brotherhood, is a body of all the masters who are ascended and unascended, and their chelas like you and me. Okay. And some of the masters who are not ascended are because they chose to be on the planet Earth very closely. In this case, their strength or their powers varies from being ascended to not being ascended. Who are the ascended masters who are not ascended? They have an ability to be visible to people in physical body as well, and they are more closely associated with Earth. Versus the ascended masters who are working from the etheric realm, along with the angels and Elohims, and I'll come to that later on. And that's the primary difference. But then each one of them are very easily approachable to us. Yeah, and I'm happy to answer your questions in case you have after we complete this slide. So just to give you a flavor, on the extreme left of the screen, I'll be pointing my pointer through this. So on this extreme left, we see Ascended Master Kuthumi. I'll just share one liner about each one of them because it's huge. I mean, uh, talking about Ascended Masters, for each Ascended Masters require one session each. Like today, we will be talking majorly about Ascended Master. Uh, we will be talking about Paul the Venetian, and also about Heroes and Amura. Okay, we'll come to that later. So on our extreme left, we see Ascended Master Kuthumi. He's a master of psychology. And then we see El Moria. He's a master of will of God. And then we see Master Chananda. He's a master of the twin flame and also the master responsible for spiritual growth in the Indian subcontinent. And then we see Sanat Kumara, also called as Kartikeyan. He has the highest order of responsibility of the planet Earth. And then we see Serapis Bey, he's a master of discipline. And then we see unascended master and Maha Avatar Babaji, and he is basically the master for he has a big lineage. We would have heard of Paramahansa Yogananda, lineage of different masters who are ascended as well, and some of them are unascended. So he's a master of meditation into nirvana. And then we see Confucius. Confucius is a master of wisdom and energy. And then we see Saint Paul. He's the master of epistle is basically epicycle. Epicycle is nothing but the form of writing. So he's is a master of that, and then also he's a master of healing. And then we see Lady Portia. She's a goddess of justice. We see Lady Portia in all the court rooms with the lady with the blinded eyes. So that's Lady Portia. And then we have Mother Mary. She's a master of healing and twin flame, primarily twin flame. And then we see above that we have Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha, he is basically from the lineage of Sanat Kumara, and he is also called as the Lord of the world. He is the one who's responsible for the whole world with respect to the spiritual realm. And then we see Palas Athena, and he is the master of truth, Aham Brahmasmi, and of twin flame. And then on the extreme right, we see Mother Kuan Yin, and she is the goddess of mercy, compassion, and forgiveness. And then below him, below her, we see Saint Germain, who's the master of violet flame. And below him, we see Paul the Venetian. Today, we're going to be talking about him. He's the master of love. And below him, we see Archangel Michael, master of protection. And then we see mighty Astrea, goddess of fearlessness and strength, and also for power, fearlessness, strength. And then we see Maitreya, Lord Maitreya. He is the master. He is a guru of Jesus Christ, and also he is again ascended master for power. And then we see Hilarion. She is the goddess. He is the master of truth. He has his own temple of truth. And then we see Milarepa. He is a master of yogic powers, including levitation and flight through the air. And then we see Cyclopia. She is the master of truth and healing. There are some of them who are repeating because many masters share some disciplines in common, but they are unique in themselves. And for Cyclopia, in addition to truth and healing, also the master of constancy and desire to precipitate the abundance of God through the immaculate concept of Holy Virgin. And then below that, we see Surya, master of power, and the hierarch of the God star Sirius. Now, God star Sirius is the star of the great central sun, and the great central sun is there is a sun of this for this particular for this particular solar system, and beyond that there is a sun for this particular universe, this particular galaxy, and beyond that there's another solar system which is for the entire divine. So that is the sun, the great central sun. So So we talk about the sun for our planet, and then we talk about the sun for the entire universe and then the galaxy. I mean, the Sirius is the highest order of sun where the god resides, and that is why it has been given that name. So Surya, praying to Surya or aligning with Surya is aligning with the god star, with the Sirius. And then we have Afra, and then Afra is the first member of the black race who made his ascension. We'll be talking about him subsequently. And then we have Lord Lento, who has the Master of Attainment and Enlightenment. Okay, and uh, the I am movement, which is basically we are talking about. These teachings have been there from eons of years before the formation of the new Earth, which happened a couple of tens of thousands of years ago. This information was still there before the Atlantis sank more than 12,000 years ago, before the age of Atlantis, in the golden age. These teachings were still there on the planet. So it has been there from billions of years. Okay, but we don't find them in our scriptures in Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Zoroastrian, any of the scriptures because of the obvious reasons, which we will be also sharing subsequently, and I have been sharing about them earlier too. But of lately, this information has been revealed to us, so it seems to be quite new to most of us. These teachings are provocative because of the basic, obvious reasons. Because what we have heard is what we believe in, and what we have heard is the partial truth. And when I say the partial truth, is because with much reverence and love and deep respect, we only have been given half truth, which is why and I, with all due respect and reverence and love, which is coming through religions, and the religions only focus on one aspect of the truth, and there are things which have not been revealed to us earlier. And while religion helps us to make sense of our being on the planet, but then it also confines us to a certain degree. And when we look at these teachings, they come in the realm of spirituality. It has no boundaries, it's like an open tent with no coverings, no boundaries, no closures. So all the religions basically, they merge into these teachings, and yet you will find some of the aspects about these teachings which are cutting across through the religions, and they are much more broader. And that is where I say that these teachings will uproot, or they will be confronting some of the beliefs that we already have from the past learnings through the various religions and various means that we have been taught. I'll be talking about the recent movements of the I am movement, of the movements of the Ascendant Masters. One of them was in Chicago, America in 1930. It was called as the I am movement. And another one, which is also there in India, which came to India in 1879. It's called as the Theosophical Society, which started earlier in 1875 in New York. So all this information is assimilated and um, in my case, learned and grasped and absorbed through Summit Lighthouse, which is still present in Corning Springs, Montana, US, and also through Jaspal Soni sir, who is the president of the Chananda Society. And all this information is available in the links which have been shared below. You can always go through them. In fact, going through them is recommended because what I share is one part of it. I'm trying to give you as accurate information in smaller capsule format possible. But this is just a tip of an iceberg. For you to really delve more into these teachings, the best way is to align, is to basically go and study yourself. Go, maybe I can just do a little bit like a kickstart, but then if you really need to go deep, you'll have to go through these various modes of learnings, and I will help you in that, how you can explore, as I was sharing about the links, and that will really help you to understand these teachings in a big way. And as much as you get deeper, it will really help you to understand it. So there are few things which I would like to address right now before we go further, and this is not specific to today's session, but in general, it's important for us to be mindful and be aware of it. One of the thing is that the way we operate our life is we always operate our life living from what we already know. Okay, and we and this is most comfortable for us to do, but life starts only when we explore outside of our knowing domain. and the realm in which we live is the knowing domain. But life, when I say life, I mean all the miracles, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the experiences which somebody can say they are out of life experience are only present in the realm which we are most uncomfortable to explore, is the realm of unknown. I wanted to bring this point out. Number one. Number two, it- although they all points are interconnected, but you can look at them separately and then try to connect the dots. Number two, we always live our life from the past. So our past is already guiding our mind to live a life and what to expect. So, in other words, it's something that we have created for ourselves, whether it is good or bad, but that doesn't matter. But we are living a life which is predictable. Don't you predict yourself all the time? Don't you know what is going to happen? We might want to disagree. We might wish that we don't agree to it. We might wish that it's not like that. But and we wish that it should not be like that, but essentially we live like that because because of the decisions that we make in the past. They govern our life because that's the way our brain is operating, and it all can be broken. Before I do that, I have to give you a depiction, and I would like you to also be interactive in this, and you can switch on your cameras. That will be really great, in fact. So, asking this question to all of you, there could be one, two, three, four. I'll just use two, three scenarios, try to make them most common. Maybe all of us have bought a house, purchased a house. So I want you to be imagining, okay? And so this is a interactive exercise. So we are doing it together. So I'm not just telling you anything. It's not information. It's an interaction right now. So engage with me. Uh, Imagine any one of the scenarios. Maybe that you have, and remember, in fact, remember the time when you bought a house. I hope most of us have bought a house. Or imagine alternatively that when you got a baby, when a child came into your life, okay? Or imagine that you got admission into your choice of university, your choice of your college, okay? Or imagine that you ever had a great luck and you won a small, maybe small or a big prize somewhere. So now I want you to be present to that moment. I am going to use an example of my job, or maybe my engineering degree, which was very precious to me, and I was really not hoping to get that kind of a result. Now, when you actually got a job, or you got a baby, or you know cleared your entrance exam, got admission to a university, and etc., etc., what was the kind of feeling that you had? I mean, my feeling was that I did not have a clue of what I'm going to do after my college. I'm going to use the example of my college result. I had no clue what I'm going to do, but then I started imagining that I am going to be a director in a company, and something self-created, not true. But then I started living that kind of a moment. In that moment, I was in a very small town. Its name is Kopargaon, and it's around 200 kilometers from Pune. I was in Pune University, but I was in the suburban area. And my experience was like I am already living in heaven. I mean, the best and the best of the companies, and being in a small place, my experience was being in heaven at that moment of time. So, can you relate to what I'm saying? You can? Okay. Who can? You can? Okay. Can I hear from everybody? If you can't, also I want to hear from you. Just say a yes, no. Okay, well, that's okay. That's fine. So, what we are trying to depict over here is that we always live a life which we create right now, and that is most of the time. Now, what is happening is that okay, this now I want to give another contrast, and this contrast is about a sad moment. Okay, now imagine that you are in a best of the best locations. Okay, maybe for me, I was in Norway. I really loved that place, or Goa, and so you can imagine anything which you wish. And unfortunately, there was a news which was unlikely news, and that news was okay. Great, I got that, Jyotiji. Thanks for sharing. You have been in all the four situations. It was amazing. Yeah, and also imagine when this situation you were amazing. The you may not have the best and best of situation, but your experience was different in that situation. It was not governed by actual situation. It was not governed by the actual situation, but it was governed by your experience. Okay, I wanted to be present to that point. Very important. As I was in a small village, my experience was not being in a small village. My experience was that I can conquer the world. Now, second scenario. In this scenario, we are going to imagine a bad situation or something which didn't really happen nice. We really wouldn't want that to happen. Like I was in Goa and I got a news that something really bad happened in back in Bangalore. Excuse me. And that had going to impact me in my career, in my job, and it was not good. Now, my experience of Goa altered. I was on a vacation, but my experience of this place completely altered. I was in the mood of already foreseeing something happening which is not desirable. So I want you to imagine something like that happening in your life for a moment. God forbid it did happen, but let's say it never happened. But imagine if it did happen. While being in the favorite place in the world, you heard something which is not desirable. And does that alter your experience of that place? Something which you never wanted and it happened undesirably, it does alter your experience, right? Now, what is happening? It has happened with me, so I can relate to it. So, very much relate to it. Okay, so what is happening is that this point of time, your experience of your future is altered. I saw a future in which I had hardships, which I have to deal with my job, with my career, and so on and so forth. Now, what is happening is our present and the past is creating our future. Okay, it's already doing that. Now, what we are trying to do through meditation is we are going to break this chain of the past being in the future. So just imagine, right? Today, if I, ask you literally something which you wish you could, but you really don't believe that it will happen. Like if, for example, if I ask Jyoti, I can use my example. Let me use that. Okay, if Ram says Akash, I think that you are the next Einstein of this world, and I think that you can really create something which this world has never seen earlier before ever, and I think that you are going to create a legacy for this, for your family, for the generations to come, for your family, and I think that that legacy will really take your family in the limelight and give them the best and best of life. I don't believe it at all. Why? Why can't I believe that? Because I know myself. Now, when I say I know myself from my what? From my past, right? And because I know myself from the past, my immediate response is no, Ram. I don't believe you. You're just making something up. You're just making fun. It's not true. That's what happens. However, whatever Ram is saying in all true sense, it's very much possible for everybody. Not just talking about Einstein, but then each one of us has that God quality in us, which, if completely adhered to, or which, in if completely obeyed, completely practiced in discipline, can be invoked, can be revealed, and can be lived in our life right now. I am talking to each one of you. I'm talking to Jyoti, to Uma, to Vasudha, to Ram, every one of us. We have that potential now to live a life of, say that in your heart, of whatever it is. It could be anything. We can create that life in right now for ourselves. Only if we choose to live the life of the willing, or the will of God. If we choose to live a life of the will of God, if we choose to live a life which God has planned for us, something like that. Yeah. So be present to these facts, okay, and then we move to this ray. The third ray is the ray of heart, and when we talk about the ray of heart, it very simply means, put in simple words, it means, because the energy of this universe is governed by the energy of love. The creation of the universe is governed by the creation by love. Everything which has been manifested in this world has been manifested through the presence of love. Can we say that we understand it fully? We may not, because how we experience love, how we understand love is from the perspective of duality, and I'll come to that. But what I am talking here about is pure love, is God love, which is present in each one of us. Okay, and we can access that by connecting to our I am presence. Okay, and then we will talk about it. How do we do it? By going through our crystal cord, connecting to our Christ self, or our Atma, and then connecting to our higher self. And this heart is the only, I would say, the meridian point in our physical body, which integrates all our chakras, which means it integrates our remaining six chakras out of the seven chakras. Plus, it also governs and it helps distribute energy to all other five chakras, secret chakras, which we have shared in the previous sessions. And you can go through the previous videos to know more about the secret chakras. Basically, they're located in our center of our palms, and then two in our feet, center of the feet, and the fifth one is the center of the heart here. And the heart is where the pink fire of love burns brightly. It is the seat of the illuminated conscious, conscience, and authority of God's will that you make your own by God's by the you make your own by love's discernment and wisdom's and the wisdom's true discrimination. So you're able to identify through love that this is oneness. What is oneness? You are able to identify that, and through the wisdom of love, you're able to understand the oneness, and then you move to the state of that love. That's what I mean. So your heart is a focus of the great central sun. God made it so. When you keep the heart in the vibration of the Christ's love, or Krishna love, or any name you give, in compassion for all life, you discover all life as one. For out of the heart are the issues of all life that lead to one source. Okay. Now, as we have been talking about this specific chart always, I will briefly share with you are we, what do we mean by this chart. This chart essentially means that, and you can replace this om with a symbol of cross, with the symbol of Allah, with the symbol of any other religion belief that you have. But this is the pure I am presence in each person. Okay, this is the God self in us. Okay, and this figure is divided into three parts: the top, and the middle, and the bottom. And the bottom part is the physical body where we are. The middle part is our higher mind, our higher self, and the topmost is our I am presence. That is our God self, that Aham Brahmasmi, surrounded by these in concentric spheres. Each color represents the God quality, and we're going to be talking about one of the God quality, which is the pink color, just above the blue, above the yellow color. Okay, and so our body is basically in it is covered with seven different garments or seven different layers, okay, levels. And out of those, four are the lower layers and the three are the upper layers, and the four lower layers are nothing but our etheric body, our mental body, our emotional body, and our physical body. So each one of them play a different role, and they are very closely knit. Our physical body is what touch and feel, and of course we understand about this mental body and our emotional body, which governs our actions. Sometimes our emotions govern more than our mind. Sometimes our mind, mental thought or psyche governs more than our emotions, but they govern how we live our life, physical life. And then our etheric body, which is our energy field around us. These are all taking part. They are all contributing to the way we live our life. And then the three higher bodies are our Atman, our I am presence, and our causal body, which we have been sharing earlier. Our Atma, which is also Vishnu, is the uh, creator, uh, preserver, and the destroyer is the preserver. Vishnu is the preserver, and it is also basically a mediator between our lower being, lower body, and our I am presence, our Brahmasmi. And at this state, when we are in this state, we experience a lot of intuition. Our inner child, is connected to this all the time, and this is the state in which we are talking to, we can see we're talking to angels. It's through meditation we are able to reach to this state. Also, the states of alpha and different, the lower frequencies of beta or theta, they access these states of being. And then the highest state is the I am presence. And this is a state which is achieved also through deep meditation, but not sufficiently enough. We also need a lot of assistance through degrees and prayers with the Ascended Masters, of the Ascended Masters. And with that, I move to the next slide. If you have any questions, please highlight them. Stop me in between any point of time. Today we're going to be talking more about the third ray, pink in the color, and on Monday, the day for the third ray is Monday, and and then this is governing the heart chakra, 12 petaled. It has 12 petals, and we have various masters. I'll be sharing about masters in the subsequent slide. We have Chohans, we have Elohims, and we have angels, and then we have the karmic board. But today we will be covering about the Ascended Master in charge as a Chohan, and also Ascended Master in charge as a Elohim for the third ray. Only these two. And you can always go to the Summit Lighthouse and read more in depth about other Ascended Masters who were in charge of the heart, from the aspects of the angels and from the aspects of the karmic board, and not from the karmic board from the aspect, but from the aspects of angels. And in this particular way, we are talking about, I'm so sorry, there's some error in this, but then please omit that. But we're talking about various qualities, which I will be going through in subsequent slides. But immediately now, let's look at the hierarchy of the Ascended Masters. I'm talking about a hierarchy, but not from the human understanding point of view. When we hear about hierarchy, we usually have a tree structure in our mind, which means that there is somebody who is at the top boss, and then his subordinate, and below them there is a chain of command. In this, is not like that. It's not a chain of command. It is not that Mahachahans are the bosses of angels, or angels are the bosses of Elohim, or Elohims are the, or switch it, or we can switch them back and forth. All of them, what they're doing is they have their attainments, which we call them as jewels also. And with these attainments, we they are practicing certain disciplines. and they are taking care of certain ministries and disciplines, which they minister, they govern around those specific disciplines, and they have been given that job to continue to do, because they have attained that amount of mastery in that particular discipline, in that particular area, and that is on that basis that they continue to play a role in the hierarchy of ascended masters. So I would request you to look at this from that God's eye, okay, and not from our understanding about hierarchy. This is not the word we are using, is just to depict the whole equation of things, but we don't have the sufficient grammar to express how we can understand God qualities or the way God operates. So I'm making that clear so that we don't get divulged or misguided or misdirected into that direction of understanding. Now, Chohans play a role where each of the seven rays has a Chohan, of course, as we have been talking, and who focus the divine qualities of that ray. Having ensouled and demonstrated the law of the ray throughout the numerous incarnations, they have taken initiation both before and after achieving moksha, and the candidate is appointed to the office of a Chohan. It's a brief definition, you can explanation about them. You can always deep dive, as I mentioned, by going to the site and understanding more about them. But Chohans, they really play a very important role in governing the a specific ray, and one can reach any of the Chohans. Maha Chohans is the the consortium of Chohans, and they can take help, like just write a letter to them, or maybe sit in a prayer of a Chohan. Today we'll be talking about one of the Chohans, which is Paul the Venetian, and just attune with them, and then they can take you to their retreat and make you learn a lot of things specific to their discipline, area of discipline. And then we have archangels, and they are the leaders of the countless number of angels, and it is the highest rank in the order of angels. Each of the seven rays has a presiding angel who, with his divine complement, archai. Okay, so we have angels, and then we have their complement as archai, the twin flame archai, embodies the God consciousness of the ray and directs the bands of angels serving in their command on that particular ray. Okay. One can always attune to angels, as I mentioned, for Mahachohans, to any one of them, in fact, and they can be very much present in our life. I have personally experienced a lot of power by connecting to Archangel Michael and Mighty Astral and Shiva, a lot of them. Now, Elohim are the ones who are the creator of form. When God gave this order to create the whole cosmos, the Elohims were the ones who took part in that. So, Elohim, seven mighty Elohims and their feminine counterparts, they took up this job of creating the cosmos. So, they are the builders of the form. So, when God, okay, that's what I shared with you. Okay, that's what their main role is. And the karmic board is a body in which they adjudicate the cycles of individual karmas, group karmas, national karmas, and world karmas. So all souls, they pass through the karmic board before and after their incarnation to the earth to receive their assignments and the karmic allotment of their lifetime. So like you, each like you and like me, we were all, once we completed a life cycle, we were presented in front of the karmic board, and they adjudicated, they they I mean, this word is a little twisty, but then they educated, they adjudged us based upon our karma and the karma of our nation and our, the groups, and based upon that, and also of the our current family members, our current friends. So our, take limit to our family members. So our brother, sisters, siblings, our parents, they along with us were part of a meeting in front of the karmic board, where they adjudicated the, or they judged the karma that we had created in our last lives. And we reached to a state where we agreed that we want to take up next life and learn these lessons and choose our parents, choose our siblings, and so did they do the same. And that is how, and we can extend it to our friends, we can extend it to our bosses, to our team members, we can extend it to our communities, to the country, to the group where we exist. And all that is what we had done ourselves. And this life is by a choice. We don't know that. We never remember it. But that's true. So I'm happy to pick up any questions in case you have. So this is a general chart. I'm going to be skipping this, but then it contains all the rays, the respective Chohans, archangels, Elohims, karmic boards, chakras, divine qualities, perversions and the symbols. And each week we are going to be picking up one of the rays, deep diving in that ray and trying to understand how do we perfect each ray, and also how to eliminate or minimize our perversions by aligning with the God qualities. And how do we align with the God qualities is what we're going to be talking about. So this week we are talking about heart chakra. We're talking about the ray, third ray, which denotes color pink, and it's on Monday. Okay, and the Chohan who is responsible for this ray is also one of the Mahachohans, Paul the Venetian, and the Elohim is Heroes and Emora. Paul the Venetian was a great master. He was a master of love, and he is hierarch of Charter of Liberty. His retreat is in Rhone River in France, and then he has basically mastered various cultures. And when I say mastered various cultures, through the cultures, the Ascendant Masters are able to percolate the God culture or the spirit, or they are able to pass the teachings of the God, teachings of the Great White Brotherhood. So it's very important to inculcate a culture through which this is possible. So in various embodiments, he has served in the fields of arts. And why he has served in the fields of arts is because through art, it is said that the music is the language of God. Uh, in quite a sense, there was not physical language, in the golden age. The language that was spoken, or the language that was understood, was a language of music, was a language of colors, is a language of form of beauty in various form of images. Okay, now through, and I mean it, okay, all of us should pick up some kind of form of art, maybe singing, maybe dancing. In fact, dancing is another form of language of God. So maybe dancing, singing, drawing, and I mean, these could be various forms of art. And through these, he started to balance. He learned how to balance and expand the threefold flame. And why do we talk about threefold flame? Threefold flame is a gift. There is one gift which has been given to us, and this is one of the gifts. When our soul was created, we were given this threefold flame, which exists here in the center of our heart. There was a time when the threefold flame was 9 feet in height, and now it is 1/16th of an inch, which means it is very, very small. So, and this threefold flame is basically the source of the energy. That's the God in us, and that's the connection of us with our I am presence. Through this threefold flame, we are connected to our I am presence through the crystal cord and through the mediator. And these are all different ways. I'm giving you these small ways and windows to be able to connect to our I am presence. And I'll just repeat it. Our threefold flame through our crystal cord is connected to our I am presence, and there is a mediator, Atman, through which our higher mind, we who helps us to get further connected to our I am presence. Because in the golden age, we were in the state of being completely in the I am presence, but we chose to have a free will, and gradually it corrupted us, and we created negative karmas. Okay, that's what has been taking us away from our, and the threefold flame started to reduce to 1/16 of an inch. And that is where we need all the support that is possible to go back to the original source from where we came. Now, Paul, he explains in his lifetimes in various embodiments how to get into the Christ consciousness in us, how to get connected to our Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Guru Nanak consciousness, Muhammad consciousness, any name that we want to give. How are we able to connect back to our true self? Okay, and that has been done through various ways. Now, one of the great painters in the 18th century, Norman Rockwell, was guided by Paul in his retreat, and then he's sharing about this to us through Elizabeth Clear Prophet. That yeah, and he's saying that I remember when Norman came to me to the inner levels of to study in my etheric retreat. I remember as I counseled him to show the Christ in the American, in the American people, to the American people, in their everyday lives, in the form of humor, humility, wonder, togetherness, heroism, and all that. So basically, he's trying to depict the spirit of Christ through images, through day-to-day life to the common man, so that it's easily accessible. Inherent qualities of the God. It could be through various. It's very important when we look at the images, the right images. Suddenly we understand how Christ actually experienced his misery, suffering in the human form, but he never left his God. Because, and that's, if you read Bible, you'll see a lot of things. In fact, does those all things which we want to understand about various embodiments of various gods that we preach, like Jesus Christ, are available in the Ascendant Master teaching itself. So it is saying a unique artist, one devoted to the inherent qualities and identity of the individual, as his perception of the Christ was. So was his painting and capturing the unique moments. So what he did was he started making paintings which are very creative, which can describe the presence of higher self in every individual. So so he said that there will be people who would want to come to my retreat to learn important initiations, important lessons, who will be knocking at my door. Now what he is saying is, I will take you, these are his words, through Elizabeth Clear Prophet's body. I will take you by the hand and show you my castle, and we will go through many rooms. And lastly, I will take you to the room where there is that flame, that frame that hangs. In some cases, it will be empty frame. In some cases, it will have a canvas in it. It will be your frame, the frame of your identity, waiting for you to bring forth the genius of your soul. And when you see the frame, and if it is empty, in some cases it will be empty, in some cases it will have a picture. So when you see that frame and if it is empty, you should draw an image of your own Christ perfection. And sometimes that image will be at a certain level, and then you come back and you draw the image again. And that is what he means. He says that you can alter your DNA, you can alter your entire physical body. I'm talking about mental, physical, etheric, and emotional, completely oriented around your higher self. And that's what he means by saying this. Now, in his various embodiments, he one of them, he was Paulo Veronese, okay, in the 15th century, 16th century, in the Vatican City. Now he Polo Cagliari in Verona, Italy, in 1528. The artist's early training renown gained him renown gained him renown at the early young age, at the age of, I think, 21. Somewhere it's mentioned. Yeah, 21. He was welcomed at Venice as a master of his art. The palatial splendor of the city, its pearls and silks from the east, its elegant tapestry and broco- uh, brocades enriched his work. I'm just going to read from the text. this which rose to the heights of decorative excellence. So Veronese ornaments soon led to dramatic experiments with new colors. In his quest of beauty for beauty, he freed himself from dull browns and grays of the his predecessors by modeling full light, making his already graceful figures iridescent and nearly transparent. He developed glistering pastel hues of azure, coral, pearl, lilac, lemon, yellow that startled and fascinated his patrons. He loved deep, bold, contrasting colors, and his combined shades never used before ruby and rich, velvety green, pink, emerald, aquamarine, and violet, as if to stress that the true beauty endures forever. Veronese searched for and discovered a technique of pigment preparation that is unsurpassed in preserving paint. His magnificent colors still radiate brilliantly today. Veronese was spiritual revolutionary who waged battle against the forces of anti-life in the arts. He saw beauty in the most powerful catalyst for enlightenment, and he endured the figures of Jesus, the apostles and saints with the lifelike expressions. By associating them with easily identifiable places and things, he put them within the reach of common man. The master transcended the traditionally flat, lifeless, and grim aspects of medieval art. His biblical scenes and historical subjects, festivals and pagans were refreshingly executed with joy and sweeping grandeur. He illustrated the steps of initiation on the path of Christhood. You can use the Christhood in place, replace it with Krishna or Guru Nanak or Muhammad or any other name that you religion that you follow of that master, and was prolific in painting the martyrdom of the saints. So we're talking about Elohim, Heroes, and Emora. So Heroes and Emora, they are the masters of the third way, God's love, representing the spirit of the Father, Mother, and the pink plume. They infuse earth, water, air, fire with the cohesive power of the Holy Spirit. And thus, by power of the love, they radiate the planets and which are held in their orbits, and the electrons continue with on their appointed rounds. So what they mean is that just the way the planet is rotating, various planets are rotating in a orbit. In the similar way, uh, our attunement with the understanding of the God's qualities, in this case God's love, helps us to attune with the conscious orbit. And if we are integrated within ourselves, we're completely balanced in ourselves, we are rotating with that consciousness. We are on a different timeline. The radiance of Heroes and Emora is pink with the white lining. I'll explain the meaning of that as well, white lining. In 1995, Heroes and Emora came with the Landmark Dispensation. And the Landmark Dispensation is a very unique dispensation which usually happens in once in hundreds of years, sometimes it's thousands of years, in which what message is passed is going to be impacting generations and generations of humanity together. And usually these dispensation, actually mostly, are given through a messenger. In this case, the messenger was Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Now, what he's saying is that in this whereby they were strategically layering thousands of bricks of the ruby ray, and explain you about that later on, in the earth that would radiate ruby ray heat to balance inner levels of the earth closest to the core. They will stabilize the earth and curtail the power of those with evil intent, lightning, the lord of darkness on the planet. The Elohim also said that this action would cause changes in the earth and added, you may pray that these changes be not physical. They encouraged us to give violet flame decrees daily to restore the equilibrium of the planet. And I've been always encouraging all of us to continue to do violet flame decrees at least 15 minutes daily. And by doing that, the Ascendant Masters have given this message to us consistently for 6 months. We will be able to transmute or balance one lifetime of karma. Isn't that amazing? There are people who continue on a cyclic clock. It's a cosmic clock. It's called as a cosmic cyclic clock. Lifetime after lifetime learning the same lesson. But if we have been given this opportunity, and I'll talk more about it later on, to balance our one lifetime's karma in 6 months by just spending 15 minutes of conscious effort on doing violet flame decrees in the way the Ascendant Masters have taught us, why don't we take advantage of that? Our angels will repair the faults in the etheric shield, and as you intensify your violet flame rituals, they will repair the faults in the earth. And as you see the curtailment of the power of those who have persecuted the body of God in the earth, ratify this prophecy by your calls, and it shall swiftly come to pass. So it says, and as I'm just going to read this again, they will repair the faults in the earth, and you shall see the curtailment of the power of those who have persecuted the body of earth in the body of God in the earth. Basically, by doing this, you will see the power of the violet flame impacting the planet Earth. Ratify this prophecy by your calls. So basically, we are the ones who we have been waiting for to make this change happen, for the earth to shift from the lower vibration to the higher vibration. And he's saying this to us who are in one of the dispensations. One of the Ascended Masters said this is the right time to be born, because in these period of 100 years, people who are here are the ones who will be the catalyst to make this shift from the catastrophe, or from the the apocalypse, to the divine, or to the golden age, back to the golden age. So we are actually taking part in that, by the way. It's up to us, where do we want to be, where do we choose to be, whether we choose to be in in the cutting edge, in the frontliners of making this change, or we are the ones who are going to move downwards in the spiral downward direction, where it goes further down into the darkness. Helios and Amora would like us to focus on first the intensification of these these ruby ray bricks, and second, the defeat of all forces of anti-love that oppose the union of twin flames and our union with our higher self. Visualize the layered ruby ray bricks radiating an intense ruby heat throughout the earth. So ruby ray is the highest, one of the secret ray colors given to us, and the highest attainment for a human being, for attainment of the lessons of love. And when you do this ruby ray, I'll teach you, I'll share with you certain degrees. Visualizing this in the certain way, visualizing the layered ruby ray bricks radiating an intense ruby heat throughout the earth, it is not only helping you, of course, starting with helping the self, but not only the self, but also the whole planet. So it's so powerful. One degree can actually help in years and lifetimes of, or maybe hundred, tens of years of negative karma. And when we're doing it for so many people, we are balancing so many people's karma. So that's also there. It's not so simple, it's a little complex. When we talk about the karma of the planet, we're talking about the planetic karma, we're not talking about individuals. So we can do that. uh, Heroes and Amora speak of an action of love that is not widely understood. Why? Because these teachings are not for everybody. These teachings are only for the people who are ready and who are at that stage of getting this teaching. To get to the state of receiving the teachings of Ascendant Masters, it is said that one must have a balanced karma of at least 25%. So it's a great opportunity and a privilege to be here, and yet it is not a cool thing to have. It's not fun thing. I would say fun thing in a way that it is light. It is not a light thing to be taken lightly. It is something which is very serious. We can take it in a a joyful way. In that sense, we can take it in a a fun way. But then this is something which is very deep and serious. So all of us have, while we have such huge powers, tools which can really alter our own life and the life on the planet. But at the same time, we also understand that this is a huge responsibility. How we use it, very, very important for us to know. We all can do it. I'm just trying to say that we need to understand that this is something huge we are part of. This really gives meaning to the first question that we initially took up: who am I and why am I here? So in the sense, we really have a huge responsibility. So heroes and Mira, Amora, they speak of an action of love that is not widely understood. The action of love is the action of mightiest force in all of cosmos, the unleashing of the white fire core of the atom. Core of the atom, white fire core of the atom. White light is the highest light, and that light comes from the sun, from the great central sun, Sirius. And that light carries all the energy of the god. And while we do a lot of degrees, protection degrees, we envelop ourselves in this white fire. And now he's talking about the white fire core of, I'll just read this again. The action of love is the action of the mightiest force in all cosmos. The unleashing of the white fire core of the atom, of the core of the secret rays. Watch then how the judgment is meted by God through the instrument of the Elohim and through the instrument of love. And see how is the coming of days, there is a reinforcement of choices. Those who choose light will find their light reinforced, and those who are the darkness of the darkness will become that conglomerate mass of the mass subconscious, wherein the spirals of the self-annihilation is self-appreciation and just looking at self-admiration, narcissism, and it will lead to self-annihilation and defeat, then to the second death. Choose then life. Choose allegiance to the inner flame, and be not concerned whether or not the messenger, the emissary, is right or wrong, is real or is not. Be concerned with the choice within the citadel. Citadel is the basically the ability to choose the right and wrong of your own consciousness, your own being and life, and then you will know what is real. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions? Ram bhai, Jyoti, Uma ji, Basudha ji, any questions? Is it interesting? Are you finding it interesting? And is it really resonating so far? I hope that it's not getting too because it's too wordy right now, so one can lose interest. But let me know if you are with me so far. Please post a yes message. Like this, so that I know that we are in line and I can proceed further. Or else I can also, go back and speak about any comment, or speak about any. I can address any questions if you have. I can pick up any questions. I don't hear you. It's new, different knowledge, so trying to understand. Yeah, Jyoti, I agree with you. But please ask questions. It's okay. How much ever time it takes, it's okay. We don't have to really worry about the amount of portion we have to cover. We can maybe stop here also. I mean, going further in details, we can just
Hello.
take up questions. I can hear you now, Ram bhai.
Okay. Now you hear me. Okay. Now I
I
was
can hear you
saying,
now.
no any questions as of now. Lot of content, lot of information. Most of the
I
things
know,
are pretty new for me.
quite theory. Mm,
So just trying to, let's say, integrate the information and knowledge being shared.
mm. Yeah, one can get confused as well. I agree. But Ram, I get your point, Ram bhai. But Uma is saying that interesting but getting confusing. It can be so. But I invite you to be present, ask questions, clarify. Okay, and wherever there is confusion, ask question, clarify, so that we don't give any attention to our wavering mind. The biggest enemy on the planet Earth is the dark forces that attack the humanity is doubt, confusion, and fear. Basically, doubt and confusion is the same thing. Doubt and fear. It is the main enemy which attacks human beings to move in the God self. It has been there for forever, and that's the strategy of the devil. But yeah, I can. So ask question, Umaji. Please do. Please ask. Before we leave here, get your confusion clarified. So the question Jyoti is asking is Elohim Sapta, Rishi, or is it different? I have, I don't remember, but I can get back and confirm to you, Jyoti. Please join the group first, because you can ask these questions in the group, and you can get answers. Ram would be posting a link. Please join that link. That will help us to, I because I don't know about this, quite honestly. But yes, I can find out and share with you for sure. And I don't feel any hindrance or any guilt or anything, shame in saying that I don't know everything. I know as much as I know I can share, and I'm learning at the same time. So it's okay not to know. This is one of the things which Ascendant Masters have said. You will not know everything. We will not be able to answer all your questions, because the dispensations are an act happening at a specific moment of time. Once the dispensation is over, there is a limited access then to do a Q&A. But everybody who is doing their Q&A, they are connecting with the Ascendant Masters themselves. Like Elizabeth Clare Prophet was there connected with Ascendant Masters. Through her, a lot of questions were getting addressed. But as I understand now, many of the people are addressing beyond what we are aware of through the Summit Lighthouse. We are addressing other questions by ourselves and by the sharing of people who have got addressed those questions. So that is why it is important to take this word across to other people. We have to take the Ascendant Masters word across to other people. That's one of the reasons that also why we are here. Okay. I haven't answered your question, I know, but once I will be getting back on this question in the WhatsApp group for sure. I will be answering this question. Okay, so please stay tuned. Okay, any question, Uma? Do you have a question now for me, so I can help you clarify it?
It's okay, Akash. I will go through this content again in the YouTube, and
Okay.
if I find anything doubtful, I will ask in the group, Akash. Because sometimes suddenly I'm going out of the track. I'm not able to understand about this painting, about this art, and how come they painted. Once when I went to Egypt, I saw the painting on the ceiling. It was of dark, very bright colors. I don't know, are they made by these people or made by these ascended masters? I have
Most
that doubt.
likely, yeah, most
Yeah.
likely it would be painted by. I'm not sure if it is only Ascendant Master, but it
Okay.
definitely would be painted by someone who has been able to attune with the masters. Do you know
Masters. Okay.
Michelangelo? Have you heard of this
Yeah,
name,
yeah, yeah,
Michelangelo?
yeah, 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 yeah.
He was a great
Michelangelo. Yeah, I know.
scripter,
Yeah,
right? He
is a
he
scripture and
he
also
used to
painter.
sculpt. Yeah, Michelangelo was a painter, and then he used to create a lot of beautiful paintings, and also he used
Paintings,
to create sculptures also. And
sculptures. Okay, fine.
one of the time there was a question somebody asked that how were you able to create this sculpture and from stone. So his answer was that I could just see the god in that stone. All
Stone.
I did was I removed the extra chips.
Extra chips.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, but I'm telling you, I'm telling everybody, all of you, myself included, we are the Michelangelos that we have been searching for in our lives. We have our own God qualities. By the end of seventh ray, you will find out what is the primary God quality in you. I'm talking to individually, okay? I know right now about my mind God quality. And what it means is, I will tell you what it means. It means that by finding out our own God quality, we will be able to focus more to fine tune that. So we can do 100 things together, right? I can become painter, I can become singer, or maybe I'm talking about technology, I can learn best in the cloud area, whatever. We can do 10 things, but can we be masters of all of them? Is my question. Now, the idea is not to, at a human level, not to confront this question that why can't do we do everything. I'm not disputing about that. In fact, we can do everything, is what I'm also saying. We are limitless. But there is a certain aspect or the karma that, or some things that we are balancing, and some form of God that we are expressing in this planet right now.
Yes.
All of us are doing it uniquely, but are we able to tune to that frequency, our individual frequency? Once we do that, I mean, once we know also more that okay, my attunement is more towards looking at the beauty of love through singing, through just serving other people. I don't know that what it can be. I am exploring myself. I know a little bit, maybe in some aspect, maybe you know something more in some aspect. We are just sharing here. That's all we are doing. Okay. Now, by doing this, you individually, each one of you will identify that Michelangelo in yourself, and you will create. I don't mean it exactly. I mean metaphorically. You will create that masterpiece yourself. I want each one of us to be that. Please believe that you are creating that masterpiece in your own life. It is not a joke. All of us are creating that, okay? And by adhering to the God qualities, and by removing these perversions, I'm going to be talking about the third ray perversion right now. We are attuning into that. We have both. We have the positive qualities. We have the negative perversions. Both. The idea is that we are trying to minimize the perversions by certain means, which I will explain you, decrees and prayers and service and all that, and also by altering our psychology through meditation, through understanding. Knowledge is very important. Through sharing with others, we are increasing our qualities. This is what will help us to move further in our connection with our qualities,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
shine bright, become that Michelangelo. That's what I mean.
Okay. Very nice,
And
Akash. Very nicely explained.
yeah,
Very
and
nice.
that's what they have been talking about. Why is he talking about art, uh,
Ah,
Paul the Venetian? Because he is
yeah,
just trying to say ki baba, you can also do it. Why did Jesus Christ take birth and he went through the pain? Because he wanted to show that pain is part of life, but you can still walk that path. Because finally, you will get that attainment of liberation, of aligning with with the divine, and you can get liberated. Okay, there's so much wisdom that was shared by Jesus Christ. Now,
Jesus.
Paul is talking only about art because he's saying through art is one mode of attaining God. So he's just talking about that, nothing else. He's sharing that we can attain God through different forms. He was using this form as a form of art,
Painting, painting. Okay.
painting.
Very
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, very nice. Very nice, Akash. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, and we can read. You can always go back and read in the Summit Lighthouse. The link is there in the beginning, and that will be the right way to actually read through. Of course, you can go through these slides, but these are more consolidated. It's a good starter, because good starting point, kick starting. So I'll go to the. Okay, I have one message. One sec. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I know it's so awesome. No, amazing, so exciting actually. So, third ray qualities, let's just quickly go through it. Divine love, selflessness. So, all qualities of the third ray evolve from the manifestation of divine love as God loves us in the person. they are the best. They are best understood and realized in their true true form by a person when he or she begins to embody these virtues layer by layer. It can also be said that these virtues listed above get attracted by the heart chakra of the person when he thinks, when he or she makes himself ready to receive them by passing certain tests. So tests are like, okay, I want to ask you a question. Do you understand the meaning of in the self enlightened interest? Have you heard of this word? Just say a yes or no at least, please. Have you heard this word, enlightened self interest? Please say yes or no.
Can you repeat, Akash? What is it?
The word is enlightened self interest. Have you heard of this word, enlightened self interest?
Yeah,
You have heard. Okay, what does it mean?
but I don't I don't know the meaning. Enlightened self, probably you reach a point where some kind of the perception change happens,
Okay.
where you're enlightened what life is about. I think so. I'm not very sure, but my assumption.
Yeah, if I would explain it to a fifth grader, I would say enlightened self-interest is less or not about right and wrong, good or bad. Not about looking at things from the human perspective, like this is good, this is bad, this is right and wrong, and all that, but looking from the perspective of higher mind. So higher mind is nothing but looking from the perspective of whether this is really taking me forward in my journey. Like, for example, so many bad things happened with Jesus. I'm using his name, but you can pick any example. I don't mean to pick. You can pick anything. Like my life, once I were certain situations. I am not trying to be good right now. I am not. I also have my own perversions. Just sharing this to bring a contrast from life rather than just picking up only the gods. Okay, the ones we all know. Let's make it more specific to us also. So one time I saw that certain things were not happening fine at my home front, and they were not wise, they were not fair. All that is there. Now my entitlement was to take actions in the right way. Okay, that I am entitled to do one thing. That example, that somebody did something unfair. I'm talking from my life. It happened. Now the right thing is that maybe I can give them a consequence, punishment, or I can take an alternate route, which is my justified route. But can we look at a way in which the route which I take is forwarding my lesson? What do you mean by forwarding the lesson is that, like, for example, if there is something which is like I received some unfair situation in which I got hurt, okay, and it is true, it happened. Can I look at a solution in which I can move forward from this situation by not taking that logical action of maybe giving them back, or making them realize, or making that person to pay back for their wrong, or trying to be right about myself, so and so forth. And it can be at any level which we have no clue. There are thousands and thousands of scenarios which can happen. How about pride? When we get an opportunity to take care of certain people who are may not be strong, may not be rich, may not be entitled or privileged of certain things, but are we taking the action in most wise way in which we don't hurt them? We don't even know that we could hurt them. Now that cannot be completely arranged in a arrangement of in the human sense, in the right and wrong domain, because nobody can come to know. There are certain things we can just do it, but enlightened self-interest is when you look at things from the God's eye and you make sure that by taking these actions, you are moving forward in your journey of learning, of taking the lessons. Have I really taken the lesson? Is this really going to take me forward in my journey? Now, I have got this situation. I can handle it in any way. How do I handle it? Do I do it from my mind perspective? Like, I can be right about things and I can make somebody pay for their for their wrongs, blah, 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 blah. Or can I connect with my heart? The heart also has a mind. I mean, I would not say that mind, but that's a higher mind. Heart connects with our I am presence, and then it becomes our higher mind, our God mind, or our higher mind, both ways. That Atman or our completely Brahma. But are we able to deal with the situation from our higher mind, from our heart? And then the outcome will be different. That's the way forward in the self-interest, enlightened self-interest. So that's what I mean. Okay. I hope I was able to explain you. So never think those who are right and wrong, but think how to pass the test. In the context, also hold on. In this context, the meaning of self-conscious selflessness becomes a keystone to that person in his everyday life, as he finds himself engulfed in the selfless services to other. Okay, now passing these tests is all that matters to that human being, is the person who is talking about enlightened self-interest. Now, why we were using the big examples about Jesus Christ, about Guru Nanak ji, or any other master? Guru Nanak ji had to face, to see his sons being stoned in the wall, and yet forgive the people who did it, and then create a kind of arrangement, or come to discussion with those people, so that it can create harmony. I don't remember the full story. And then Jesus, when he was being crucified, he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." Okay, so he's asking for forgiveness on the behalf of those people also. Now, these are examples. Okay, that's why we are relating to such examples in which the contrast is huge. The something on the stake is very huge. We are giving away something. They have forgiven people for murders, for things which are unpardonable, those things. And why we are doing is because we are our enlightened self-interest, in our enlightened self-interest, to move from this lesson. This has come to us for a reason. What can we do? Then we are connecting our higher mind, and then we are taking action. From connecting from that state of mind, the action that we take will be in the highest order, will be in the will of the God. Okay. Beauty, comfort, grace. The beauty of divine love can be best explained by meditating on the meaning of word God, which means absolute good. The person is always full of such goodness quality, because he or she has a beautiful heart, which is congruent with the heart of his or higher I am, Atman. She is ready to offer others comfort through the heart of this Atma, which manifests as an act of grace. The heart of such person radiates through the heart of his Atma as one heart. And that is what I'm talking about in the, in this example, that we are connecting with our heart, and the God quality, the goodness of our heart. And we are listening not to our mind, not to our ego, not just to our logic, but to our Atma, our higher mind. And through that, we are able to help others. One who is able to help others, he is going beyond beyond his own interest, and he is going to a state where he's putting himself in their shoes, and then looking at their life from their eyes, and then understanding their limitations. Okay, harmony. A person who embodies the quality of harmony embodies quality of harmony, embodies and yields the greatest power of God, both in heaven and on earth. Harmony acts like a magnet and attracts the absolute power of the universe to that person. To master harmony, one has to pass certain prerequisite conditions involving tests to overcome tests of overcoming doubt and fear. See, this is what I was talking about. Doubt and fear of uncertainty of any situation in life, mastery of maintaining peace in their members, and being obedient to the inner voice of the will of God. Okay, it is not so straightforward, but then one can always reach to that state if they have a conscious effort, they put a conscious effort and they are mindful, they just overcome. See, the tests are always going to be there. Every moment of our life is a test. Let me tell you that way. Whether we give in to our fears and doubts and uncertainty, or we take a leap of faith in 100% unconditional trust and in the goodness of the life, that is our for us to decide because it's our free will. Okay, creativity, spiritual magnetism, God desire. Love is the primary ingredient behind the creation of spirit, matter, cosmos. This is the force by which the matter and were spiritual universes were and are created. So what are we saying is a very important line. I'll read. Love is the primary ingredient behind the creation of the spirit matter cosmos. Love is the primary source of creation of everything, everything, everywhere. This is the force by which the matter and the spiritual universes were and are created. I am telling you, if we understand this science, we are no more less than getting to a, it can be called as getting to a high speed, fast track mode towards our own progress in our evolution. That's all I can say about this. But we need to first understand. It sounds to be simple, but we need to understand because for understanding this, we have to give up the ordinary understanding about it. What does it mean? What does the meaning of love mean? Let's explore that fully. And then perhaps maybe we can start to embody it, and start to live like that. This is how the solar systems and planets and are held together and move in their orbits. A person who has mastered this quality of divine love becomes a co creator with divinity. His heart beats in unison with the spiritual masters and cosmic beings, and lesser human desires get transformed into God desires. They get desired. Lesser human desires, they get transformed into the God desires. In other words, there is only one desire that remains with that person, which is the desire to be more of God-like. This is very nice. Compassion. I was just talking about it. Another name for divine love is compassion. When a person embodies the virtue of compassion, he is able to put himself in the shoes of another person who is burdened and are not able to see beyond their human limitations. He offers them vision and hope. He is not critical or judgmental of others, but instead is ready to offer them a cup of cold water. Can you imagine? It is not so simple. But can you imagine if me, are able to connect with our I am presence, our divinity, our heart, which is connected to our I am presence, which is basically real connection, the threefold flame connection to our love, cosmic love. We will be able to forgive so many people. We will be able to forgive starting with ourselves, and that is the starting point. So many things that we keep doing, we keep judging, and I'm not trying to say in a bad way. It's human. We are all humans. We have our own limitations. In one aspect we are good, in one aspect we are not, but that is where we are learning. And we need to come out of this loop of making this call of judgment. We are nobody. God allows a criminal to get freedom, to get ascension in one lifetime. When Jesus was, I don't remember that whole story, but there was one thief which came to Jesus, and in that one lifetime, Jesus held his hand and he said, I want to see the truth of God. I want to really see the ways of God. And this man transformed, ascended in one lifetime. So I don't know whether it was John or who it was, but then I don't remember it fully. So I don't want to quote any name. But this incident is true, and which is so much true for all of us. Let's look at life from God's eye. Let's be more open and forgiving and accepting of others, of ourselves. Let's be more loving and kind to others. Let's also be more sharing to others with love. Unity, adhesion, and cohesion. Adhesion, cohesion, unity means the one thing, which means basically integrating, of of combining and coming together, of uniting. In the spiritual terms, a person who has mastered the qualities of adhesion, cohesion, knows the difference between the vibrations of absolute love and relative love, truth and lie, and connect in the inner soul to find the truth. He is like a swan. And swan is basically a bird which can differentiate between milk and water. In this case, it is depicting Atma, who knows the difference between the unadulterated and unadulterated milk. So when we are connecting to our inner child has a pure connection with our Atman. Atman is our higher mind. Through balancing maybe our chakras in meditation and decrease. So seat of the soul is nothing but in our sacral chakra. And when we are able to balance that, we are able to connect to our inner child. We are able to get to our intuitive state of mind. We are able to connect to our atma. We are able to connect to our higher mind. When we are truly connected with, we start getting intuitions, and we are truly connected with that. We don't need our eyes to see the truth. We don't need to get deviated by the picture presented in front of us, by the words or the situations which are created by people around us. We only need to connect it to our I am presence. We need to connect to our higher mind, and we will see the truth. And that is the one person who is able to basically identify between the singularity, the absolute, and the duality, and that the relative. Okay. Communion with life, baptism of the Holy Spirit. The four lower bodies, which is etheric, mental, emotional, and physical, of such a person become the living temple of God. So now we are talking about four lower bodies, which is our very closely associated to us: the physical, the mental, the the emotional, and the etheric. So starting with etheric, mental, emotional, and then physical. So these are the bodies which we are living in. They become the temple, living temple of God. The baptism purification process, you can replace the baptism name. It is not about Christianity. It's mainly about the purification process by the Holy Spirit, which is Western terminology of Lord Shiva, for Lord Shiva. The the third person of the Hindu Trinity takes a newer meaning in the life of such a person. What does it mean? It means that when we are in the state where we are able to purify our physicalness, the physical body, and that can be done through working on the psychology. I mean, basically balancing the chakras, decrease, meditation, all those processes. By doing that, also working on our psychology, by the way, in the life of such a person, he perpetually communes with angels, masters, cosmic beings, because he has become one in the vibration with them. So it's very important to remember the way we eat food, what we think the whole day. Are we able to, orient around the right kind of thoughts? What are we spending enough time in doing meditation, and are we doing some service? So these things are very, very important, and that's what it means. Any questions so far? Okay, then I'm going to move. If there are no questions, you can always ask the questions and hold me, stop me in between. Okay. Okay, Ramai. So we're talking about the perversions, and before we begin, I would like to highlight that every human being is living in duality. We are living in this age of duality from thousands of years, and all the qualities and perversions are very much within us in different percentage. So at any point of time, we need to remember that none of that we are talking here is outside of us, but there may be in some percentage or the other. So owning this up is all is required, and being more gentle and more loving around it, accepting it and letting it go. We can only move forward. There is no coming back. Okay, we can transmute this only inside of love and acceptance. So, human love and selfishness. The human love is based on the duality or conditional relationship of love and hate, like and dislike, etc. In such relationships, people tend to think about their own interests and become selfish and self centered. They are not concerned about others. Hmm? We all can relate to it very much. Ugliness, discomfort, negligence. Ugliness is the opposite of the quality of divine beauty, and a person with this perversion radiates hurtful energies towards others, including that of causing discomfort and pain to others, knowingly or unknowingly. He tries to create some kind of a, you know, in void, he tries to avoid, in fact, involving in situations where there is no money or personal gain for him. He always thinks, what's in it for me in this situation? What is my benefit? These types of people are ungrateful towards life and become forgetful about what others other people have done good things for them. They are negligent about what they can do to repay others and uplift someone. Discord. Another perversion, these type of people, I don't mean to say these type, it's basically some part of it is there in each of us. So this kind of perversion exhibits is that of possessing of ever present discord in their behavior, which is opposite to the quality of the peace and harmony. So the energies of discord reside in their minds, feelings, physical bodies. These people are always angry with something, leading to discord, manifesting in various ways like rebel and so on. So there is a sense of anger in such kind of perversions. Okay, people possessing discord in them, there is a sense of some kind of an anger in them, and that anger is present in every aspect. So in everything that they do, there is some image or some kind of reflection of anger. Okay, and even though they might sound sometimes to be very polite, even at times they sound to be very adjusting, even at times if they sound to be very understanding and accommodating, even if they sound to be generous, etc., etc., etc. There are aspects when they, if the things are not more working in their fashion, they would express anger if the things don't work out in their way, my way or highway kind of, maybe. But they will, the path that they will choose is not the path of god mastery, of acceptance, of forgiveness, but they will choose a path of anger, and it can lead to rebel and such kind of perversions. And then we have sensuality, animal magnetism, human desire. So the negative perversions of sensuality connected with the fulfillment of physical senses and the animal magnetism. So animal magnetism is maybe new to you, but it means people who are ignorant, malicious. So basically, always having some wrong intentions. Sympathetic and sympathetic, being into the mode of being sympathetic, not very powerful state to be. And I will explain this in the next example. And then delicious, always worried about how the things are tasteful. Delicious is not only about food, but tasteful things should be delicious. and likable state. They always feel that it should be in that state, my way. They want to get things in that way. These animal energies are present in our chakras and our lower bodies, and human desires of lower self, which always include eat, drink, be merry, and sleep, laziness, etc., etc. They are all animal magnetism. They are dominant in their lives. Self pity and human sympathy, I was just mentioning earlier. The perversion of human sympathy involving feeling sorry for themselves and blaming others, circumstances, God, others, etc., for their problems in their lifestyle. I mean, you can consider, like, I can say that, I did not get this kind of role, and I did not get this kind of opportunity, or maybe I did not get this kind of behavior from this person, my relative, my family member, this and that, and I deserve this and that. And this kind of crying is self sympathy, is self pity. We are very driven towards this because of the energies that they carry, and these are spiral energies. These are nothing that is uncommon when we are when we are giving more attention to such kind of thoughts. Basically, it is already there in us, because we, under our electronic belt, under our navel area is the electronic belt, all the dark energies possess. Okay, these are our lower bodies, and they constantly want to fight. So navel area is our solar plexus chakra. Below solar plexus chakra and below that, all these energies prevail, and they're high in their emotion and feeling states. Okay, so whenever such feeling states come, these emotions come, we have to remember that these are the lower chakras which are in operation, which are in active state. Being present is the first step to discernment. Okay, when you're able to do that, you're start to discern. And the second step would be to take a positive action, maybe do a decree or meditate, or start to accept the situation and face the situation and take the ownership and responsibility towards harmony. Okay, and then it is disunity, disintegration, decay. Such people are living life in the downward spiral, which means they are not united with their own members. When I say own members, it means their heart, mind, body, and soul. Okay, they are not united in that. So their heart is doing something, mind is doing something, body is in a different state, soul is in a different state. So they are not trying to unite. There's a very famous author who has given this quote: all the suffering on this for all the human being is because all the pain and suffering that comes to human being is because of the mismanagement of the soul. Okay, so I'll let you know this author's name. It's a very famous guy, very famous. So when we integrate our heart and mind and body and soul, is when the opposite of unity and cohesion and adhesion is disunity and disintegration. So opposite of integration. Okay, in this state we are having all these states, all the members, heart, mind, body, and soul, disintegrated, because they are members. These four aspects of ourselves are disintegrated, are not united to achieve the everlasting life with the higher self through moksha. They are on a downward spiral. This is what I was saying. We always are working on life. The tests are always there. Whether we move in the downward spiral in life or we move in the upward direction is up to us. There is nothing called as constant state, by the way. So they are on the road to slow death pace through the activities involving decay and disintegration of their soul. So knowing the strategy of the enemy is the first step towards going forward in the direction of God mastery. Okay, and the enemy's strategy is to basically always keep us in the lower vibration. And these are the lower vibrations we are talking about. This is the strategy of the fallen angels. Consorting with death, necromancy, demon and spirit possession. So this perversion becomes astral hellish. So when people begin to entertain practices of working with spirits of the dead people, demons, evil spirits of possession, such type of practices lead to the opening of the astral pits containing the energies of death and hell. Remember, sometimes certain things feel very intriguing, very interesting, very attractive, but just because they appear attractive, they appear delicious, doesn't mean that they are good. Sometimes people love to just continue to read their auras, other people's auras, see where they are reaching in their karma, how much have they balanced. We have to always ask this question from the higher mind: why do I need to do this comparison? Understand why? Am I trying to prove anything? Sometimes even a thank you, sometimes people like to be addressed as masters or gurus, or we are trying. Who is getting that pride? Where is this going? Are we taking this? So I am trying to be mindful of receiving the gratitude from people, because when I receive it, my pride is constantly, till we get ascension, our pride is always on the active mode. My pride is coming in the forefront. Arey wow, very good, Akash. You are appreciated for the work. I'm being mindful of receiving it, because it's a gesture of receiving of love, and then passing it on to my I am presence, my higher mind, because God is the doer, it's not us, we have to remember. And when God is the doer, then all the good that is being happening from us, all the great things which are happening, is basically attributed to the God self, to our higher mind. And also, along with that, the perversions that we have, the errors that we make, the mistakes that we make, are there because we are in the self discovery, and in the self discovery mode we will make mistakes. So we have to be humble to forgive, because we are God children and we are imperfect in our duality. So our mistakes are being done so that we are able to understand and take a lesson, learn a lesson. So these mistakes are our contrast to help us to learn. It's okay to make mistakes, because through them we learn, and we have to accept ourselves in that state of imperfection. Because through that imperfection, once we move to the state of acceptance of that imperfection, we allow ourselves to make errors, to make it right, to make it perfect eventually. Now, this is a different way of being, because in this way of being, one comes to a state of Atman. In the state of Atman, I'm using that word is because that is a state where one becomes an observer. In that state, one is an observer of self also, where one looks at one's good and at one's bad without attaching any emotion to it, without attaching any charge to it. The good has happened, the outcome has happened, that is also great. That is God's willingness, by God's grace, and we pass it on to the our God self. And the bad that has happened is also happened for a reason, which is going to help us to move forward in our learning process. So that is also okay. But attaching no meaning to any one of them, taking nothing inside. I think with that I complete the session. And these are certain things which we can follow on a daily basis. We can schedule a preferably a fixed time on a daily basis, where we do a 15 minutes of degree every day and do other degrees for that particular day. Then bring in your situation into the awareness. Like example, if I am going to be praying for all the people present here, then I put myself, I put Pallavi, Uma, Vasudha, Rambai, all of you in the situation, and your situations, whatever it is. Let's say good health, just an example. My own good health and prosperity, and everyone's good health, prosperity, and then make a protection call of Archangel Michael, which has been shared in earlier slides, or mighty Astrea, and then use a preamble. So preamble has to be used before all the prayers, which is also shared in my previous slides. So you can go to that. The link is also shared. If you join the group, the link can be shared in the group itself. And then the important thing is to speak each word clearly with respect, with reverence and concentration. Okay, in commanding tone. So gradually you can master these, decrease these words, and then you can increase the speed, and then you can increase the number of repetitions also. Now, when you visualize, you are being enveloped by a pillar of 9 meters in diameter and height. 9 meters is the diameter of the violet flame, and then 6 meters is the diameter of the white flame. So this white core flame is basically for protection, and the violet flame is for the transmutation. And we do this both because we want protection from not getting the evil energy into us. Very, very important. When we do something good, the negativity always attracts. It's like the bee is attracted to the beehive, to the honey. Now, the other thing is to visualize. So you are visualizing as I shared with you, and then using lastly a closing prayer, okay, which was also shared. I wanted to mention that we have got in this new age, the new learnings. I'm using this word new because it's newly brought to us, these tools which will help us to transmute our negative karmas. So we should make maximum advantage of it ourselves, see for ourselves how is it manifesting in our lives. For me, it has manifested in being able to be more considerate towards others' situations, being able to serve as much as possible, without looking just at my benefit, because looking at the higher benefit, if it is really beneficial, being transparent, not just being worried about whether I'm getting benefit, but being more integrity into integrity. And then also I'm also learning that if I can just accept others and forgive them whatever has happened, I think that is a lesson which I'm learning in my own self, and then move forward. It is helping me to be able to be more compassionate, and also being able to relate to other people, being in their shoes, and it is altering the way I can understand them much better, and it is also altering my tone in the way I talk. The tone completely alters. So the how it is helping, I mean, all these things have to be implemented in our lives, and once we do that, as I'm sharing with you, start sharing with others. That's the idea. Okay, knowledge of aham brahmasmi, very important. I am presence. You are your own guru, nobody else is your guru. Remember that. And that's not the human ego. I say that with deep love and reverence, and with all the love and reference to all the masters and all the teachers, the path bearers, torch bearers, who have shown path to me, and to who are showing path to each one of you. But we need to understand that our own guru is our own higher self, and it's not to be understood by human ego, because that will take pride. There's no pride in this. It's just is. It's always there. A knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi, then the knowledge of Ascendant Master names and their teachings, because this helps us. This greatly helps us to know this is not the end of everything, and it was never the end of anything. New age is coming, and we were always there. It helps us to understand from where we have come. We are the sons and daughters of God. Did we know that earlier? I never knew it. That's such an important information, by the way. Just being the son and daughter of our parents is great. We know that's our DNA and our hereditary and all that. Biologically, they are our parents, but did we know that we are the sons and daughters of God? All of us, our parents also. That's our relationship, the ultimate relationship with ourselves, that we are the sons and daughters of God. We always have to live with this magnanimity, because being sons and daughters of gods also gives us the complete connection with the whole cosmos. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. And then the violet flame. Now, the violet flame is a gift which has been there with us from eons, but in the last 200 to 250 years ago, when Saint Germain, through the embodiment or through the messenger Godfrey in the physical form in America, through Godfrey, he had introduced this again, and he gave a collateral. So collateral is a guarantee to the cosmic members, cosmic council, of his own attainment. So when he gave collateral, because he was being given this test that whether this will be used in the right way if we give it back to humanity, because it was pulled back many thousands of years ago because of the wrong use of it. It was given to he had offered his jewels. Basically his jewels is his attainment of so many years of attainment of mastery. If this is not used properly, you can take away my attainments and I become a normal human being and go through the life birth cycle. And that is when it was introduced. So he is giving it to humanity freely. Please use this violet flame freely, but for good. Don't use it for negative things like, today I will do something wrong and I will use this prayer to balance my wrong. That's not the God will to be, the way the violet flame has to be used. So I want you to remember that, because it has been misused earlier. Okay, it's called as karma dodging. And then lastly but not leastly, decrease. So we do degrees for each flame. Yeah, with that we end the session. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take up from you. And if you could just switch on your cameras, it'll be really great. Thank you, Jyoti ji. Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you. I think they just left. Any questions? Anything you'd like to share before we close?
So thanks a lot, Akash Bhai. It's always so joyful to see how much love you put into this to share this divine knowledge you have come across. So I'm very, very, very deeply grateful to you, and I'm always inspired.
Thank you.
I'm always inspired by seeing the passion, that connects each one of us, and the deep love in sharing that which you have inside you. So very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's also your presence which makes the whole energy uplifts the whole energy. So I am equally grateful to you for being here, and I really appreciate you for what you're doing. Apart from just this session, what you keep doing for everybody, that's really nice, and it's really great. It's much beyond yourself, and I feel that you being a good example to all the other people. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Akashji. The session was wonderful. Every time I listen, I feel there is so much more to know, and I feel very humbled by the grandeur of the divine, probably, and which is guiding us. And I'm happy I got connected to this. I think it's a blessing, definitely a blessing for me. And this violet flame decrease, I'm new to it. I don't know. I only know I'm a being of. I think I.
I'm a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was done in our session.
Okay. I was given by. I'm a being of silver violet fire. I had given that. I was given that by another healer. Is that violet flame different to silver violet flame?
I have not heard of this decree earlier, but what I have done is that I have been sharing basically there is a link where all these presentations are being uploaded, and in that presentation,
I've been there.
Okay, in each presentation, at the end of the presentation, the last page, I am sharing the decrees. Okay, so if you
must have missed.
What you can do, I will suggest you, if you open each presentation And in the last page, if you download those decrees, okay, then you will have a set of maybe 10-20 decrees with you. And then in those last page, in one or two pages, in one or two presentations, I have shared the invocation. What I'll do is I'll start adding invocation and closing in every presentation now. So you can do the invocation.
Okay.
So the steps are mentioned in the every presentation actually. And today also I have gone through it. So first you do invocation. Basically it's an opening prayer. So what we are doing is we are taking name of some of the Ascendant Masters. In the name of I am that I am, and the I am presence of the Holy Christ Self, Holy Christ Selves of all mankind, beloved Archangel Michael, for example, Archangel Michael, beloved Guru Ma is Elizabeth Clare Prophet, beloved Guru Ma and Lenelo, the entire spirit of the Great White Brotherhood, and the world mother elemental life, fire, air, water, and earth. I decree. So maybe by doing this, I have done my invocation. I've called the masters. The beauty is, Brother Ram, Uma, Vasudha, when we call Ascendant Masters, they actually come and they are standing besides us. We don't experience it
Yeah.
to a certain degree. We may not, depending on our, subtleness and the sensitivity towards connecting with our higher self. Gradually, what we will feel, we will start feeling it also, and we'll start seeing minute differences initially, that they will help us in executing what we are intending to execute. Like there are some problems which we face, okay, they will start divulging, they will start transmuting or neutralizing. So this is, you will immediately feel it. Now what I'm trying to say, Ascendant Masters come to us through invocation. Why do
Okay.
we need to take this step? Important to understand. There's a scientific reason, because the thing is, thousands of years ago, in the early golden ages, okay, more than 50,000 lakhs of years ago, human being asked the God to give them free will. When the free will comes into picture, what happens, that the God then does not come into the physical presence of human beings without calling. Ascended masters have reached to a stage where they have moved from the life birth realm, and they are connected with the higher energies, spirits of God. Now the thing is, they don't interfere with the human will. So for us to be able to connect with them, we have to ask. So they can't come without our permission. If we give them permission, they will come. I'm just telling you, we don't need to feel ego about it. But when they come, they also pranam. They do pranam to us, because they're bowing themselves to our threefold flame. Okay, these are some basic things. So this is a technical thing to be done, and once we do it with reverence, with certain way, then they will come, and then we start doing the decree. Like for example, we do a protection decree starting. That's the first decree. Why we do protection decree? Because when we are doing some good work, always there is some negativity coming up, propping up. Have you observed in the meditation, all the right ideas come when we are doing meditation? If you
Yeah.
do, you'll observe. When you do
As much
meditation,
as
you will
possible,
observe the best
distract.
ideas that
Yeah.
can come to anybody for anything is when they are in the meditative state. Now, it's not that we are going to do anything about that idea, but our focus will diverge. The idea is to drop everything. That is what my meditation initially I was telling. Doesn't matter, any thought is to be treated as a waste, as a garbage. So the connection with the I am presence is the pure connection. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that when we are doing decrees, the connection is with the purity, and that purity is I am presence, and nothing at that point of time is more important. So now small things come up, some knocking on the door, some phone call, gradually some thought. When we do the decree, when we do the protection decree, what we are doing is we have to start imagining that we are in the capsule of, it's a full encapsulated capsule of white fire. Okay, 6 meters in 6 feet in diameter, and concentric to the white sphere is the white capsule is the violet flame sphere, violet flame encapsulated, violet flame capsule, which is 9 feet in diameter. So, and we are imagining being in that. A simple thing. If I am not good in imagining, so I imagine that I'm able to imagine. So I do, okay, chalo, theek hai. I am imagining that I'm imagining. So that imagination is our visualization, and then we put our situation that okay, this is our situation: health, finance, career, relationship, whatever it is. It will be worked upon for sure, 100% sure. But we have to do it for a certain period of time, of course, and to see the results. And then so step number one is that we are imagining, visualizing that we are in this encapsulated, and then we start our decree. Now, while we are doing the decree, we do protection decree so that none of the external deviations, they distract us from our path the whole day, 24 hours. This decrees will work 24 hours. They have that uh, energy cycle when they get reset. After we do the protection decree, let's say we do it for Archangel Michael. Lord Michael, I call into thee with the sword of blue flame, and now cut me free. Blaze God power protection now into my world, thy banner of faith above me and fall. Transcendent blue lightning now flash through my soul. I am by God's mercy made radiant and whole. Lord Michael, I love thee, I do. With all thy great faith, my being imbue. Blaze God power protection now into my world, thy banner of faith above me and fall. Transcendent blue lightning now flash through my soul. I am by God's mercy made radiant and whole. Lord Michael, legions of blue, come see me now, keep me faithful and true. Blaze God power protection now into my world, thy banner of faith above me and fall. Transcendent bull lightning, my fresh through my soul. I am by God mercy made radiant and whole. I am with thy blue flame now for charge and blessed. I am now in Michael's blue flame armor dressed. I am with thy blue flame now for charge and blessed. I am now in Michael's blue flame armor dressed. I am with the blue flame now for charge and blessed. I am now in Michael's blue flame armor dressed. And then we complete a cycle of a decree. We preferably do it in the multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9. And that is a divine order to it, because the divine order is working with the number 3. And then after completing this, we do another decree. Like let's say today is a day of heart. We do a heart decree. It is mentioned in our presentation also. And then after that, we do a closing decree. So before doing closing decree, we do violet flame decree. So every day doing violet flame decree for 15 minutes is what is recommended. So simple. Call the Ascendant Masters, then visualize, and then start the protection decree, and then further do violet flame decrees or the respective days decrees that you want to do, and then do a closing prayer. Okay, that's the sequence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can this protection and calling upon can be done when we do Reiki healing to somebody, because when we channel healing.
Well,
Can this?
I have to give this message to you because this is a teaching of Ascendant Masters, and it has to break a lot of DNA patterns in us. It will break a lot of mixed DNA patterns in our physicalness. The one of the things which it will do is our psychology. Okay, it has to impact our psychology. Now, Reiki healing, as the Ascendant Masters have shared, I am going to send you, if you ask me, if you are in the group, if you ask me, I will share with you a lot of research around the Reiki healing through the Ascendant Masters teachings from the ancient time, and what are the technical reasonings and scientific logics around the Reiki healing, uh, um, which are violating the Ascendant Masters teachings, and where the limitations start to come from the perspective of the Ascendant Master teachings.
Okay.
So
I would love to.
Right. Yeah, as a matter of learning, you can just go through it, and I'm not trying to put any comment towards or against Reiki, anything of that sort. All I'm saying is there is a learning available. There is a teaching of a very higher degree available, which will open your eyes and will can help you move forward. This teaching is only for us to move forward. That's the only idea. It's not to pinpoint anything.
Right.
So
because we also call in,
so
before the
that's why I'm
sessions,
not answering
we do
about
call
Reiki
in the
healing to
divine.
you right now. Because
I
in the
think
Ascendant
probably
Masters teaching,
offline I can talk to you.
yeah, in the Ascendant Masters teachings, it's not the way to go forward, because it will stop at a very, very initial stage. Okay, Reiki healing will not
Okay.
allow the karma to actually get balanced. It will only push the karma from our physical body, our mental body, to the lower etheric body, and that only continues to be there. And when the lifetime completes, the karma has not been balanced to the next lifetime. And for a karma to balance, it has to completely transmute, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can change form
Mm-hmm.
from one to another. But if the karma has not been transmuted, that means that transmutation is basically conversion from one form to another. If it has not been transmuted, it has been uplifted to a upper realm, which is a lower etheric body, then it has to be balanced later on. So it will come back as a cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a very important step. So I would like to talk to you later, maybe separately also, if you want to, only if you wish to, and I
Yeah.
can share more
Yeah.
research on that.
Yes. Yes.
That's why I'm not answering this question.
Okay. I would
But
love to.
yeah, but from the
Okay.
ascendant
Wow.
master perspective, these are steps that you can take, and you can actually transmute the the karmas, and it has to be done in this way for a certain
Right.
period of time. And it's done in the God's will. We can't do it
Sure.
for karma dodging. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Definitely.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Definitely, I would like to get that
Yeah.
information because, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's new.
Thank you so
And
much.
I told you, yeah, it's a new thing. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely raises up questions. Yes, Umaji wanted to say something. I was reading a message. Please
Yeah,
go
it's very
ahead.
nice. Yeah, it's the session was very nice, Akash. Learn much, very wisdom, lot of wisdom. Very nice, Akash. Very nice. Probably we'll be
I'm
waiting
glad.
for the next session. Yeah,
I'm glad it was helping you, and
yeah.
you're able to take this in your life. My only intention is we
Yes,
can
yes,
apply this in our life, and it
yes,
doesn't
yes.
become
Very,
one more
yes,
theory. So
yes,
that's
yes.
the only intention.
Yeah, yeah. After hearing, one has to implement whatever good is there. There
Mm,
is no use of just hearing and reading. And
mm,
I too believe in that, Akash. Once we
yes.
hear or come across a good thing, it's best if we implement that in our life. It's very
Yeah.
true. I believe in that. It's very
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah.
whenever I
Awesome.
hear anything, yeah, or reading any book, if I come across anything which I have to, because we know ourselves what are the defects we are having. No one
Hmm.
can tell us, even though they say, "Oh, you're very good and everything." We know ourselves what we are, so we can rectify
Mm,
what the mistakes we have within ourselves. We
mm,
can implement Akash. Really, it's very worthy. And of
mm,
course, the
mm.
session is very nice, Akash. Very nice.
Yes,
Thank you.
sister, correct. You're right. Yeah, that we when one is able to know something, it is just surface. When one is able to
Yes,
implement it, then it comes into a level of wisdom.
yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
when one shares it, then we start to learn how to master those things.
Yes, yes, Akash. Yes, very nice. Thank you,
Thank you
Akash.
so much for your
Thank you.
presence. It was a
Thank
blissful
you.
time. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for all the viewers who have been, being part of this on the YouTube also. So thank you so much. Thank you, Rambhai. I think we can close the session.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks again. Thanks again, Akash.